Fox Philadelphia, the region's only prime-time news hour, the Fox 10 o'clock news.
Good evening. A Northeast Philadelphia toddler is dead.
His parents are being questioned. And that's first on Fox tonight. It is looking like it could be another case of parents who put their faith in their God instead of their doctor. Susan Bueller joins us now live from the Lawndale section of Northeast Philadelphia with the story. Susan, what happened?
Rich, police are certainly investigating the suspicious death tonight of a 22-month-old toddler here in the Lawndale section of the city. Now, the body of Dean Michael Heilman was removed from the house around 9:30 tonight. Police say that he died inside the house on Longshore Drive around 6:30. So far, police say that the young toddler was not sick. In fact, they were only notified after the family called a funeral director, who then in turn called the medical examiner. This is what police and neighbors told us a little while ago.
There's nothing at this time that we feel is criminal in any way.
Sarge, did they believe in faith healing?
I'm not sure what their religious background is at this time.
Are you investigating that?
We're investigating every aspect of this.
We don't really know what happened except the baby's dead, and the rumor on the street is that there was no medical attention.
Now, as you said, the parents are being interviewed at police headquarters tonight. Dean and Sue Heilman are talking to the police. Now, the police are also waiting for very important information from the medical examiner to determine how the 2-year-old boy died. Also, they're investigating whether the parents' religious beliefs had anything to do with this case. Live in Lawndale, I'm Susan Bueller. Back to you, Jill, in the studio.
Okay, Susan, thanks. Meantime, a sick toddler whose parents refused to seek medical treatment for him will be staying with his grandparents for now. Daniel and Ann Foster were in Philadelphia Family Court today, where a judge decided to keep their son, 2-year-old Patrick, in the state's custody. The Fosters are accused of endangering Patrick's life by praying for a cure to his cancerous stomach tumor instead of seeing a doctor. The Fosters are members of the Faith Tabernacle Church, and they believe that fasting and prayer would cure their son. Well, they're calling it fen-phen, but America's hottest diet drug is also being called life-threatening.
That's right. It was hailed as a combination of wonder drugs that could help the obese finally get rid of some of their weight. But tonight, some frightening stories about the dangers of taking fen-phen. Dr. Brian McDonough, who warned us about these drugs months ago, joins us tonight with the latest. Doc?
Well, Rich, Jill, despite the warnings, fen-phen has been perhaps the most prescribed and requested drug by patients in years. 18 million prescriptions for the diet drug combination were written in the last 12 months. Now that so many people are using fen-phen to lose weight, researchers are seeing the dark side.
We are concerned that the fen-phen combination may have important implications regarding heart valve disease.
Fen-phen is the hottest drug combination in medicine. Millions of men and women use the drug as a way to drop unwanted pounds. But today's news strongly suggests the price of weight loss may be far too costly. The problem is damage to the heart's valves. The study identified 24 women in their 40s who took fen-phen for at least a year. Researchers found all suffered severe heart damage. 8 of the women also developed pulmonary hypertension.
At this time, we do not know how frequently valve disease occurs in patients taking fen-phen.
It is also not known if certain people are at greater risk than others, or if the disease is reversible when the medication is stopped. The report was to be released in August as part of an article in the New England Journal of Medicine, but researchers felt the warning had to be issued as quickly as possible. In response, the FDA is sending letters to doctors who prescribe fen-phen, urging them to check their patients for valve problems.
The FDA stopped short of calling on doctors to stop prescribing the drug. The manufacturer of fenfluramine, Philadelphia-based Wyeth Airst Laboratories, calls the Mayo Clinic report limited and therefore inconclusive. SmithKline Beecham, which makes phentermine, is not commenting. Now, if you're on fen-phen, you should contact your doctor. Don't panic, but call and get advice. Personally, I think it should be limited to those with severe weight problems, and I will not be surprised if the FDA makes rigid guidelines. I think we're seeing the beginning of more cases that are going to be reported as people are more aware.
Okay. And I know you were really careful about prescribing it. I mean, people in the newsroom asked for it who weren't obese, and you wouldn't do it.
No patients. I absolutely was against it because unless somebody has a severe health problem, I don't believe in it. And then secondly, they have to be obese. And then secondly, I think weight loss and diet and exercise are still your best methods.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Doc.
Thanks a lot. hot dog. Another setback today for accused baby killer Amy Grossberg. Despite pleas from Grossberg and her parents, a Delaware judge has denied a motion to reinstate Grossberg's lawyer. Attorney Robert Gottlieb was tossed off the case last week for violating a gag order when he spoke to ABC's Barbara Walters. In another development, a Grossberg attorney filed a motion to delay Grossberg's trial. That's scheduled for October 6th. The Grossbergs want time to find a new lawyer and prepare a case. Grossberg and her boyfriend Brian Peterson could get the death penalty if they are convicted of killing their newborn.
And there's a new development tonight in the mainline murder case. The prosecution filed a request to consolidate Craig Rabinowitz's theft and murder charges into one trial. Judge Samuel Salas is expected to make a decision on that tomorrow. Arraignment on both cases is scheduled for July 22nd. Rabinowitz is charged with murdering his wife Stephanie and bilking his friends out of thousands of dollars.
The New Jersey State Police have joined the investigation in that horrible car crash that killed 6 children in Camden. Specially trained troopers are reconstructing what led up to the crash while mourners flock to the accident scene, paying their respects to the young victims. Dave Schratweiser reports.
Put on the other side. On the other side of it.
They came by the dozens to mourn. One by one, they placed tiny teddy bears at a makeshift memorial on the spot where 6 children lost their lives last weekend. Balloons and candles mark the scene on Baird Boulevard that has become a public shrine to the children killed in a horrible automobile accident that has shaken an entire city.
It hurts me a whole lot because I have children, 10 and 12. It hurts me a whole lot.
As mourners came by to pay their respects and leave little tokens of their love, a special team of state troopers worked nearby, trying to reconstruct how a car driven by 28-year-old Patricia Wells went out of control last Friday morning and crashed into this tree, killing 6 of the 8 children inside. 2 surviving children remain in stable condition. Wells was treated and released from the hospital. Police say state troopers will look at all of the factors leading up to the crash.
They'll measure the vehicle, the impact, length of skid marks, travel. There's a lot of different things that they do, and they figure it all out with mathematical formulas. It's very exact.
Police say Wells was traveling between 65 and 75 miles per hour at the time of the accident. They're still investigating whether she had a valid driver's license, and they're awaiting lab tests to tell them whether she was drinking or using drugs.
No one has been charged in reference to the accident. We're still interviewing a lot of individuals, putting everything together, and at this point, time is on our side.
Richardson says those lab tests could be back within a week. Meanwhile, investigators say the area where the accident occurred is clearly posted as a 25-mile-per-hour speed zone. Many of those who stopped by the accident scene were struggling to understand how Wells could be driving so fast with so many children in the car.
People shouldn't drive if they don't have license. They shouldn't drive if they can't drive. Give yourself a chance to drive. Give yourself a chance to do anything. That's a shame.
In Camden, Dave Schratweiser, Fox News.
Officials at Villanova University are apparently tired of having their sports arena named after a convicted killer. The DuPont name was quietly taken off the Johnny DuPont Pavilion over the 4th of July weekend. The arena is now simply called the Pavilion. John DuPont was once a wrestling coach at Villanova. The DuPont Pavilion was named after DuPont when he promised to donate millions of dollars to the university. John DuPont is now doing time for killing Olympic wrestler Dave Schultz.
Prosecutors plan to use DNA evidence found in hair and blood against NBC sportscaster Marv Albert. Albert was indicted in May on charges he bit and sexually assaulted a Virginia woman in a hotel room in February. Albert provided the saliva, blood, and hair samples in compliance with a Virginia court order. He denies doing anything wrong. That trial is set for September 22nd. Mike Tyson's future in the ring will be decided tomorrow. That's when the Nevada State Athletic Commission will decide the punishment against Tyson for biting Evander Holyfield. It's expected that Tyson will be fined the maximum of $3 million and be suspended from boxing in Nevada for as long as 2 years.
If tonight's baseball all-star game has whetted your appetite for another alternative to the woeful Phillies, why not check out the region's newest ball club? Dignitaries and team officials were on hand today as the new Atlantic City Surf broke ground on an even newer stadium. Bruce Gordon reports on the wave of excitement over minor league ball.
Take me out to the ball game.
Baseball's traditional symbols were on display on a dusty lot next to Bader Field Airport. After years of delays and disappointments, minor league baseball is finally taking off in Atlantic City.
Thank you all very much.
The Atlantic City Surf will begin play next May as a member of the Atlantic Leagues of Professional Baseball Clubs. Home games will be played at the $14 million Sandcastle, paid for by the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority and the city.
This really is a culmination of the effort of an awful lot of people.
Atlantic City has long been defined as an adult playground of high-stakes gambling and Vegas-style shows. Now, says Mayor James Whalen, there is something for everyone.
We are the hub of the South Jersey Shore region. To have a baseball team here that's going to help solidify and have people identify with us, we think that's going to be very, very helpful.
Atlantic City is just the latest community to join longtime franchises in Reading and Scranton in an explosion of minor league baseball here in our region. The Wilmington Blue Rocks began play in 1993 and have consistently drawn crowds of 5,000 per game and more. The Trenton Thunder took the field in '94 and packed more than 6,000 fans per game into their new ballpark. Surf team owner Frank Bolton says there is a reason for that popularity. Minor league baseball is good entertainment at a good price.
And one of the things I like to say is, we price up against the movies, and I guarantee our popcorn will be better.
Speaking of movies, league officials promise fans will see plenty of players who've been to the show.
Well, we'll have players that have played in the big leagues. We'll have players released out of AAA and AA. We really want professional players. This league does not want to play people into professional baseball.
That won't stop 18-year-old pitcher and shortstop Steven Santana from trying out for the team.
My dream is to just play in the majors, play for the team I always wanted to play for, go to the All-Star game.
And you think this might give you the chance?
Yes, it will, because it's just one more step.
A step toward the big leagues for a talented teen and the city he calls home. We can't wait.
Play ball!
In Atlantic City, Bruce Gordon, Fox News.
And Carl Churkin is in Cleveland covering the All-Star game tonight.
Yeah, and he'll have a live report later in the newscast, including an interview with Phillies pitcher Curt Schilling.
Well, today was certainly a beach day.
I didn't get there, did you?
No, I certainly didn't.
Okay. Frank says tomorrow could be a very different story. Here's first weather.
Well, tomorrow should probably be an umbrella day here in Philadelphia, Rich and Jill. A big change is coming after 90-degree heat and lots of humidity today. The storms are going to roll in. Take a look at Northeast radar. A line of very heavy showers and thunderstorms now moving through Cleveland. I'm sure we'll see those in Carl's report coming up. And they'll be moving into Philadelphia tomorrow afternoon with some strong and possibly severe weather on tap for us. The morning forecast calling for partly cloudy skies. It will be muggy. A temperature of 72 degrees. I'll have all the information on the incoming severe weather coming up a little bit later, Rich and Jill.
All right, Frank. Coming up, rocks on Mars reveal signs of possible volcanoes.
Investigators say John Benet Ramsey's murder might be linked to the Bible.
A Kennedy is spared a rape trial involving a teenager.
The running of the bulls began yesterday. Today, the first human was killed.
And a bride dies in her husband's arms just hours after tying the knot.
These stories and much more when we come right back.
A homeless advocate group is trying to do something about the desperate lives of the homeless on Philadelphia streets. Members of Project Home were out tonight surveying the homeless in Center City. They counted the number of people on the street and also asked them questions about police harassment, shelters, and welfare cuts. Earlier today, the group held a press conference. They say homelessness is everyone's problem.
That homelessness affects everybody in our community, and we believe that that our destinies are tied with one another. So we all want the city to succeed and do well. And we know that the lives of people are really severely affected by living on the street, as well as the Center City community and our neighborhoods.
The group says since April, the number of people now living on Center City streets has doubled.
About 24 people are learning the plight of the homeless firsthand. They are burned out of their homes, and they are burning with anger that the city wants to put them in shelters. Jesse Gary has that story.
On Center City streets, the temperature is hot, tempers even hotter. About 24 people left homeless from a holiday fire turned from silent victims into vocal protesters.
And the city don't want to do nothing for us. They telling us they can't do nothing for us. But it's their fault that we don't have no home.
A very nice negligence got them to lose their homes. The city owes them a home.
The problem began July 4th. While many of us were enjoying the holiday weekend, the protesters were burned out of their home. They say a homeless man, a vagrant, moved into that abandoned row house and had been starting fires, consistently trying to burn the place down. Well, on the 4th, he succeeded. Trouble is, he either damaged or destroyed several other homes, leaving 6 families homeless.
L&I is the reason we don't have a place to stay, because they were supposed to have that place boarded up.
But mother of 4, Shelley Gibson, says the city never forced the homeless man out until after the fire. Now he is in jail and she is without a roof over her or her children's heads. The city placed the 13 adults and 11 children in a South Philadelphia hotel for the weekend. But the new week brought these people new worries over where they will live. Talk and denial of Section 8 housing vouchers led to the impromptu protest outside the Office of Emergency Services. Bureaucrat Mike Nardone came out to face the fire, trying to cool tempers with promises of help.
We're going to continue to try to work on the situation, to try to get a place. Well, I know the folks are here.
We need something to go now. Where we going tonight?
With that question unanswered, the intersection of Juniper and Cherry Streets was blocked. More chanting and waiting. Many reject a free night stay in a city shelter. Some have returned to Southwest Philadelphia and their burned out homes in the 1200 block of South 52nd Street. And a few have opted to continue their fight for housing with the city. In Center City, Jesse Gary, Fox News.
This evening, Fox News learned of a temporary solution to this problem. Mike Nardone, the man you saw in Jesse's piece, he's of the city's Special Needs Housing Department. He says the victims will stay at a South Philadelphia hotel tonight. The search for permanent housing resumes tomorrow morning.
Investigators on the JonBenet Ramsey case are now looking to the Bible for help. Police have reportedly uncovered some curious similarities in a particular passage. The ransom note found at the crime scene demanded $118,000 for JonBenet's return. Psalm 118, verse 27, includes the words, "Bind the sacrifice with cords." 6-year-old JonBenet was found strangled with a cord in the basement of her family's Colorado home. Friends of the Ramseys say the couple is well versed in the Bible. The pair has long been identified as the focus of this investigation, but they've not been charged and they deny any wrongdoing.
Michael Kennedy is apologizing tonight to the family of the teenage babysitter with whom he allegedly had an affair. In a written statement, the son of Robert F. Kennedy asked for forgiveness. Earlier today, Massachusetts authorities dropped their probe into the alleged affair. District Attorney Jeffrey Locke says the babysitter will not cooperate.
I have, however, informed the victim in private, and I do so publicly here today, that this office stands ready, willing, and able to pursue this investigation should she and her family feel prepared to participate in it.
The alleged victim is now a 19-year-old college student. 39-year-old Michael Kennedy could have been charged with statutory rape, which carries a life prison sentence in Massachusetts. He's accused of seducing his 14-year-old babysitter in 1992, then having a sexual relationship with her for some time. Kennedy says he hopes the babysitter's family and his own wife and children will someday forgive him. Security guards will be posted at Starbucks coffee shops throughout the nation's capital in the wake of yesterday's triple shooting. So far, there have been no arrests. 25-year-old Emery Allen Evans was one of the victims, and he was from Vineland, New Jersey. Evans was a student at Howard University. He'd been working at Starbucks for just 3 weeks.
The man at the center of the Democratic fundraising controversy may be closer to testifying. The Senate Governmental Affairs Committee agreed to consider former fundraiser John Hwang's request for limited immunity. Carl Cameron reports.
Launching what Republicans hope will be dramatic hearings into White House and Democratic fundraising abuse, Committee Chairman Fred Thompson set the stage with a charge sources say has been verified by evidence from both the CIA and the FBI.
The committee believes that high-level Chinese government officials crafted a plan to increase China's influence over the U.S. political process.
But ranking Democrat John Glenn all but stole the show with a bombshell of his own.
And I wish to report that counsel for Mr. Hwang has stated that Mr. Hwang is willing to come before the committee and not exercise his Fifth Amendment right.
John Hwang's the central figure in the fundraising scandals, a former Commerce Department official who kept his classified security clearance even after he became a Democratic Party fundraiser. The question is, did Hwang give U.S. secrets to foreign governments or businesses in exchange for the huge contributions he collected for the Democratic Party? In exchange for testimony, Hwang wants limited immunity. Republicans say Hwang will only be protected from prosecution if he agrees he will not withhold any information.
You don't buy a pig in the poke. You don't give anybody immunity unless you know that their testimony will be helpful.
Hwang's testimony could blow the investigation wide open, But even without it, both parties admit the fundraising frenzy has left Washington money mad.
What was for sale here was nothing less than the fabric of American democracy. Laws that look very clear, look very plain, look to be broken.
Democrats did little to defend their party or the White House, for the most part choosing instead to argue that both parties have abused the system and only Democrats want to fix it.
Real reform, comprehensive reform, is the only answer.
But before they consider reform, Republicans first want to focus on what existing laws have been broken and whether it's worth it to give John Wong some immunity. Their first indication could come with the first witness's testimony, John Wong's former supervisor at the Democratic National Committee. On Capitol Hill, Carl Cameron, Fox News.
Coming up in weather, Frank will talk about the storms coming our way.
And we're going to see some storms out in Cleveland at the All-Star Game. Our friend Carl Churkin will be with us live. We'll be right back. A routine training mission has ended with deadly results in North Carolina. 8 soldiers were killed when a Black Hawk helicopter went down and burned on a remote, thickly wooded corner of Fort Bragg. Military officials say the victims were members of the 82nd Airborne Division. The Black Hawk helicopter operates with a crew of at least 3 and can carry as many as 13 soldiers. No names have been released, no word on what caused the accident.
Family and friends of an Indiana woman are gathering twice this week for 2 monumental occasions, a wedding and a funeral. 24-year-old Susie Lotz got married Saturday afternoon. After the reception, on her way to her honeymoon suite, the new bride collapsed in her husband's arms and died. The coroner says she had a heart attack. The same people who gathered for the wedding are expected to attend the funeral tomorrow. In Chapel Hill, North Carolina, hundreds gathered to remember Charles Kuralt. The retired CBS newsman was buried on the University of North Carolina campus, where he graduated in 1955. Scores of people hailed Kuralt as the Norman Rockwell and Walt Whitman of television. His on-the-road reports offered gentle reminders of what the country is all about. Charles Kuralt died Friday. He was 62.
Spain's running of the bulls has claimed its first casualty. A 22-year-old Madrid resident died after falling from a wall while watching the event. Also today, a man was seriously injured when gored during the Bulls' morning run in Pamplona. The injury was the second of the 9-day festival. The running of the bulls is a Spanish tradition which dates back to 1591. At least 13 people have died in the run since officials began keeping records in 1924. More bloodshed in Northern Ireland as clashes between Protestants and Catholics continue. A police officer was shot and wounded in a mostly Protestant area today. Rioters also set fire to Protestant meeting halls. The violence broke out Sunday when a Protestant group marched through a Catholic neighborhood. So far, there have been more than 700 attacks on police and close to 1,500 bombings. An historic declaration from NATO today. The group extended an invitation to 3 other countries, Poland, Hungary, and the Czech Republic, now have the opportunity to join the alliance. President Clinton called a decision a great one, saying the invitation opens the door for other nations and is a step toward an undivided Europe. Other NATO allies, such as France, wanted to extend the invitation to Romania and Slovenia, but bow to American pressure. Today's decision marks the largest single expansion of NATO in its 48-year history. And the Mars rover Sojourner was on the road again today, digging up new discoveries about the red planet.
NASA scientists are seeing surprising results in the data, and they're thrilled about the success of the project.
Jane Wells takes a look at the latest findings and the faces behind the mission.
Big news. Barnacle Bill is Earth-like.
And I don't have a clue as to why.
Scientists can't believe how lucky they got with this first rock. They believe it may be lava, rock from Mars's very core, and much more like our planet than the Martian meteorites which have landed here.
This is probably a chemical fingerprint of Mars. This site really is a rock festival.
The rover should continue sending back information for at least a month. But as we learn more about Mars, we're also learning more about NASA.
We will also look at Scooby-Doo in some detail. And Casper. Don't forget Casper.
That's a scientist? Remember when NASA was a bunch of guys using big words wearing ties? Linda Robeck does.
And my dad taking me out in the backyard and showing me a star drifting across the background of all the other stars in the sky. And he said, that's a Gemini capsule. There's 2 men up in there. But it still never occurred to me that I could be part of the space program.
She was wrong. women may be from Venus, but NASA wanted Robeck to enter male territory, Mars. She supervised construction of Pathfinder's mothership. It's not just the presence of women, though, which makes this mission different. There's also a California twist.
No, this is a little bit more casual. We tend to be pretty casual. I think part of that is the Los Angeles lifestyle.
Shorts have replaced suits, T-shirts rather than ties. And when's the last time you heard someone from NASA talk like this?
Rover has nestled up and kissed affectionately Barnacle Bill.
It's not your father's NASA anymore. At JPL, Jane Wells, Fox News.
Thank you, Peter.
Carl Churkin is out in Cleveland, where the rain-soaked All-Star game was held tonight.
Well, you know, Jill, they talked about a rain delay here. We didn't get it tonight, but it's raining now. I'm going to stand out here all night. Maybe I'll finally have one of those growth spurts a little late in my life, but it's raining here in Cleveland. When we come back, though, Kurt Schilling is standing by, as well as Steve Psycho Lyons from Fox Sports. We'll be back here at the Jake right after this brief timeout.
Yeah, that was. Bill Perry joins us now, and Kurt Schilling looked pretty good tonight.
We will see his highlights. We'll hear from Kurt. Let's get going. As seen earlier here on Fox, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game in Cleveland. Randy Johnson started for the American League, struck out Craig Biggio on 3 pitches to start the game. Here's strike 3 on catcher cam. Johnson also got Barry Bonds in the first inning, then some fun in the second inning. Johnson pitching to Larry Walker, reminiscent of the pitch to John Kruk in the 1993 All-Star Game. So Walker puts the helmet on backwards and decides he'll bat against that tough left-hander as a righty. Just having some fun. Walker eventually did walk the National League starter Greg Maddux in the second inning, pitching to Seattle's Edgar Martinez. Gone. 1-0 American League. All right, what about Schill? Well, Kurt Schilling went 2 innings for the National League in the third with 1 out, runner on third. He strikes out Alex Rodriguez. Here comes strike 2 to Ken Griffey Jr., and then he struck out Griffey. Schilling struck out 3, allowing 2 hits and no runs in his 2 innings. How about some defense? Cal Ripken, bare hand, robs Jeff Blauser in the 5th inning. In the 7th inning, the National League ties it. Gone. The home run by Atlanta's Javi Lopez off Jose Rosado of Kansas City. Lopez, the 11th player to homer in his first All-Star at bat. But Rosado winds up as the winning pitcher because bottom of the 7th off Sean Estes with 2 out. Gone. 2-run home run for Cleveland's Sandy Alomar. How about that? 3-1. 3-1 was your final. Of course, Alomar, the game MVP. Oh, by the way, only 3 hits for the National League. Carl Churkin had the pleasure of taking in tonight's game, and we go to Cleveland. And Carl, stay dry.
I'm doing my very, very best here, Bill. You know, it was funny here. We had a tremendous couple of days here. Baseball putting on a great show, and then, of course, it rains now as Kurt Schilling comes out to join us. Not a whole lot of offense tonight, but certainly the best defense is good pitching. 2 shutout innings for you, and I know you wanted to do that. The anticipation leading up to this was tremendous for you. How about the reality?
A lot more than I ever expected. I haven't had an adrenaline rush like that in a long time.
About 93,
yeah, 93. You know, packed house, loud fans, and they were very supportive of me the whole time I've been here. It was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, they gave you a standing ovation when you're introduced. These Cleveland fans think you're coming here.
Well, you know, it's been flattering. They've been tremendous to me since my family and I stepped off the plane. And, you know, anytime that the city puts its arms out to you like they did to me tonight, it's very flattering. But, you know, my first choice is to stay a Philly and win in Philly. And barring that, if that can't happen, then, yeah, I'd like to go.
But the reality of this season is that people are clamoring for your services, and certainly Cleveland really wants you.
Well, like I said, it's flattering. You know, this was almost like a job day at college. You know, I had hearing writers from all different cities come up and say, "Why were we on your list?" And I tried to tell people it wasn't really a list; it was just some idle chatter. But you know, in this business, things change day to day, and you know, certainly if the Phillies feel that they can deal me and get better in 3 or 4 years with 3 or 4 players, then and they can put me on a contender, that might be best for both of us. But my first choice is to stay and win in Philly.
I know one thing will remain a constant is you're a tremendous family man. We saw that at 4:30 this afternoon you and Gehrig, your 2-year-old son, having a half-hour of personal batting practice, that must have been a special moment for both of you.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a little too young to realize what it is now, but someday he'll look back on it, and then hopefully it'll mean as much to him as it does to me. Having him here and having my family here for these 3 days made this trip worth it. If I hadn't pitched tonight, it still would have been a memory that I'll never forget. Having him out in the field and the people cheering for him and him tipping his hat, I mean, it was a blast, and that really made the 3 days for me.
Kurt, you've been a great soldier. We wish you well, no matter where you are, no matter what you do. We wish you well. Thank you for coming out in the rain. Let's bring in Steve Psycho Lyons down here.
Yeah, I thought you could use this.
Well, thank you very much. It's about time. Where the heck were you the last couple of minutes?
I know I'm staying dry.
You know, baseball's put on a tremendous show here the last couple of days, but really, they not only put their best foot forward, but they've kind of put on a mask, really, because there are some serious problems still with the game of baseball.
Well, I think there are some problems. There will continue to be problems in any business that you try to run, including the rain. At least that held off.
Mother Nature, little background music.
That's right. But, you know, I think Fox does a pretty good job of trying to emphasize the positives that happen in the game of baseball. And I mean, you look at the All-Star game tonight, and for the 3 days that we were here, it was a tremendous exhibition. And I mean, where else can you find the first time in history where a hometown guy hits a home run to win it and it becomes the MVP? I think that's pretty positive. I think you dwell on those things.
One of the bridges to the future, in my opinion, certainly is interleague play. Even the traditionalists among the players told me in the last couple of days that they really liked it. It really jacked things up for them.
Well, I think the biggest problem with interleague play was the fact that the scheduling was made so that a lot of teams, the Mariners had 29 two-game series. You just can't do that in baseball. You play every day, 1 day off every 21 days. You can't be having two-game series. It's like an NBA schedule, except for you're playing every day. If you can eliminate that, maybe, you know, they're talking about realignment coming up soon, then the players would love it because they didn't like the travel. You looked at the Mariners. They played on Sunday night. They took a red-eye flight for the All-Stars to get here. That was tough. Those guys were tired and cranky once they got here. So some problems with interleague play, but everybody loved it. We're going to keep it.
Steve, we got to go. Thank you very much. I appreciate coming by.
Problem.
Thanks for the umbrella. Just a little bit late. I mean, here I got Psycho here. I got the bizarre and the peculiar back there. I'm just a man in the middle. Carl Churkin here live at the Jake in Cleveland, Bill.
All right, thank you very much, Carl. And I think that little Gehrig had a better swing against his dad, Kurt, than Ken Griffey Jr. did. See you guys. All right, next Wednesday, the Eagles rookies report to camp. Second-round draft choice linebacker James Darling, under a plea bargain agreement, will be eligible to come to camp. Darling, out of Washington State, received 35 days of jail time, 3 of which he will serve right now, the other 32 after the NFL season. Darling was involved in a fraternity house dispute back in May. Another Eagles note, they signed free agent fullback Brad Baxter. He was with the New York Jets. The Indianapolis Colts rookies have already reported to camp, getting a jump on the rest of the NFL. Next week, second-year wide receiver Marvin Harrison will report to the Colts. He's the kid out of Roman Catholic, and he was in our area today. Harrison took part in the first Intercity Golf Classic to benefit inner-city youth of Philadelphia. Mike Mamula of the Eagles also participated. The two have more than football in common. Bad golf swings, and Sugar Ray Leonard was also on hand, all for charity. Now, I don't know if Bob Clark was playing golf today, but we have this from yesterday. When Clark announced Wayne Cashman as the new Flyers coach, and Clark will be the general manager of the Canadian Olympic team. Clark was the general manager of the World Cup team last fall, and Wayne Cashman was an assistant coach. So I asked Clark who his Canadian Olympic team coach will be.
We'll do it sometime in the middle of July, next week or the following week. We know where we're going. We just got to get everybody together from Canadian hockey and get the coaches announced.
Will Wayne have a role?
That's not for you to know yet. We'll announce it in the middle of July.
Hey, I'm just asking. Another hockey note, forget about Rick Tocchet coming here as a free agent. Tocchet, the former Flyer, has signed with Phoenix. In September in Las Vegas, welterweight champion Oscar De La Hoya will defend his title against Hector Camacho. The two are in town today to hype the fight.
It's going to be I know it's going to be a street brawl. I've never been in a street brawl, but if it comes down to being a street brawl, I'll be ready. It's no problem for me.
You know, we're looking at a great fight, and I have nothing much to say. Praise the Lord. Hey, this is
Actually, he had a lot to say, but that was probably his most lucid moment. And tomorrow in Vegas, again, the Nevada Athletic Commission will announce what penalties will be assessed to Mike Tyson. Tyson will be suspended for biting Evander Holyfield in their heavyweight title fight, which was on June 28th. So we'll have that news for you tomorrow. Actually, that's later tonight. It's past midnight.
All right. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill. Just ahead, if you recently bought a cake, we have an important recall story for you.
A fight is on to give vacationers a free day at the beach.
Plus, aliens in the oat field. There is something strange going on in New Jersey. Who or what visited this field? The story coming up.
Disturbing news tonight about the health care some people are receiving. Tomorrow's Journal of the American Medical Association says those with private insurance appear to get better follow-up care than those with HMOs. The findings were based on a study of stroke patients. Doctors say the best prescription for stroke victims is intensive and ongoing rehabilitation. But the study found that those on managed health care were not getting rehab and were more likely to be sent to nursing homes.
A brand of carrot cakes has been pulled off the shelves nationwide because the cakes could be deadly for people who are allergic to nuts. Knobs Cakes of York, Pennsylvania recalled its icing-covered cakes because they contained walnuts, but the nuts were not listed on the ingredient list. The cakes can be returned for a refund. They are sold under several brand names. They come in a clear plastic dome with the wording 7-inch carrot cakes. Also, look for the UPC code and ending with the numbers 00722.
Well, if you've already been, you have one, and if you haven't yet gone, you'd better get one. I'm talking about beach tags. This year, a week on the sand costs about $7. But Bill Prasad reports a bill in the New Jersey legislature could make all Jersey beaches free.
No badge, no beach. That's the message at most New Jersey shore points. Here in Avalon, a tag is about $7 for a week or $13 for the season. Children under 12 are free.
Can I please see your guys' beach tags?
The money is used to maintain the beaches and pay lifeguards, but most people say the tags are a drag.
It really is a hassle. I think it would be better if it's free beaches and you can come as you please.
That would mean cheaper vacations. Anytime something's free, that's a good thing.
New Jersey Assemblyman Neil Cohen wants to make these beaches free. He's proposing that the state use its budget surplus to create a $9 million fund that communities can draw on to maintain the beaches. But that proposal is causing some waves in some areas.
Avalon Borough Council President Nancy Houdanit says the fund isn't big enough to cover major beach maintenance like the $1.6 million dredging project that was recently completed.
Would there be enough for each municipality to really support their beaches up to the standards that we are doing right now?
New Jersey's busiest beach is free. Atlantic City spends $1 million a year from its general fund to maintain the playground. The mayor has his doubts about relying on a state fund.
Obviously, we would welcome the state funding, but again, I'm not counting that money because I'm not sure how realistic the proposal is.
The free beach bill is in the Assembly Appropriations Committee. It could be in for a rough ride. This idea has been floated before, and each time the opposition has sunk it. In Atlantic City, Bill Prasad, Fox News.
Well, looked pretty nice down the shore.
Sure did.
Certainly did. I think Bill probably went in and enjoyed the water a little bit.
Yeah.
About 70 degrees there. We're going to have much cooler air heading our way. Our weather watcher today, though, did not have the adverse weather to blame for her short game.
It's a perfect day out here today. It's a perfect day for golf. It's sunny. The humidity's not that high. It's good. It's a lovely day, and I'm having a wonderful time out here today.
The landing of the Pathfinder on Mars is a story that we'll be talking about. And actually, we could talk about it right now if you'd like. All right. Now, people are wondering all about the possibility that we might not be alone in the universe.
That is true.
Mm-hmm. Now, residents of a Lawrence Township, New Jersey neighborhood have reason to wonder about extraterrestrials. But Gerald Colpan reports that one farmer there thinks it's all a lot of space junk.
It's really great that NASA is uncovering the mysteries of Mars as Sojourner leaves no stone unturned on the red planet. But back here on Earth, farmer Paul Bryan is enmeshed in a mystery right up NASA's intergalactic alley. A mystery right in the middle of his own oat field. Looks like an ordinary oat field, you say? Not when you take the long view.
Whatever it was, somebody wanted somebody to see it from the air. And someone's taken
something and just rolled that oats down flat to the ground.
What Paul has on his hands is a crop circle. Every so often they show up somewhere in the world, usually in England. Saucerheads say they're impressions left by alien starships. Others say they're wholly terrestrial pranks. But whoever made it, local pilot Dave Platzer, saw it first.
I don't know. I'm not too optimistic about extraterrestrial existence, but I suppose if you want to think that it could have been, it could have been.
Paul Bryan doesn't need this kind of aggravation right about now. With all the dry weather, it's been hard enough just to get the corn to come up. He thinks it's silly that extraterrestrials might have made the marks in his field. But if they did, he says they'd be just another in a long line of pests that farmers have to put up with in the modern world.
But I've had people steal corn. I've had people ride motorbikes across the place. I've had them ride horses, hunting, and I've always caught up to them. When something like this happens, you don't see it.
Which is kind of hard to imagine because there's a housing development across the street and nobody saw or heard anything. So Paul Bryan is left to wonder, men from space or local kids feeling his oats. In Lawrence Township, New Jersey, Gerald Colpan, Fox News.
Now, that's clearly Martians, I'm sure. I don't know why.
We got the definitive word right here, folks.
Why there's any discussion is beyond me. Frank joins us after another 6-day weekend.
Can a guy take a few days off? Well, you missed me, Rich.
I wish I had that agent, boy.
I'll give you the number later.
Right.
Well, a hot, humid day here in Philadelphia, but that's all going to change very shortly. Let's take a look outside. Here are the highs and lows from yesterday. 90 degrees our high, 65 our low. Normals would be 86 and 67. The record high 4 years ago, 100 degrees. Sun will rise tomorrow at 5:40. Outside at the airport right now, 75 degrees, quite steamy, 71% humidity. A falling barometer, south winds at 10. No precipitation today, and it looks like we have been parched since 1997 has started. Normal rainfall up to this date should be about 21.5 inches. So far, we've only picked up 15.6 inches, giving us a 6-inch deficit. Yes, we will see rain during the afternoon hours today, but it looks like it's not going to be enough to cure our ills. Take a look at U.S. radar. Big-time showers and thunderstorms on the front range of Colorado Rockies. Big storms arcing back south of Kansas City. And then there's that big line of storms we saw Carl Churkin standing out in Cleveland, moving through. They just got the All-Star game in. Big-time storms south of Toledo going into southern portions of Illinois. These are the storms that are heading our way. As a matter of fact, tomorrow we have a pretty good chance for some severe weather here in New Jersey, Delaware, and eastern Pennsylvania. That's something we're definitely going to have to keep our eyes on in the short term. Now, here's a big-time storm system out to the west of us. Line of clouds cutting from the eastern sections of the Great Lakes all the way back to right around St. Louis. This is the cold front that's going to be changing our weather pattern in the next 24 to 36 hours. You can see a very intense line of storms moving through Ohio into northwestern sections of Pennsylvania. We'll just have a few scattered clouds here and there overnight. The big time clouds will move in here tomorrow afternoon. Let's take a look at the current numbers. 77 degrees in Reading. Harrisburg's gone to bed for the night. 77 in Baltimore, 72 in Dover. Atlantic City checking in at 74. Behind the front, there is some cooler air. Chicago, only 59 degrees, clearing out nice and cool. Eventually, we'll start to get that cooler air here in Philadelphia. But tomorrow, we'll still be in the upper 80s for our highs, low 80s down along the shore and up in the Poconos. Over the next 24 hours, this cold front out to the west, going to chug through, trigger those heavy showers and thunderstorms. This is what I'm waiting for. High pressure in the western Great Lakes to move in, clear out our skies, bring in less humid air Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Look very nice right now. Let's check my forecast for tonight. Here's how things look around the area. Partly cloudy skies, low down to 71, southwest winds at 5 to 10. And then for tomorrow, be on the lookout for partly sunny skies. Some scattered afternoon storms. A few of them could be hefty with a high of 89, southwest winds at 5 to 10 once again. Tomorrow night, a few storms, then we'll clear out with a low temperature down to 68. Along the shoreline, we'll hit a high of 82, and in the Poconos, a high of 81. Here's the forecast through the remainder of the week. Thursday, 84 degrees with less humidity as we get into Friday. Look for some sunshine as well with a high of 82. Saturday, 81 degrees with sunshine. And Sunday, partly cloudy with a high temperature of 84. We get rid of the big storms tomorrow afternoon, and then things clear out very nice for the weekend.
Jill and I caught it all those days off. You forgot where Southern Illinois was. When Did you ever do that?
Yes.
And forget what state you're pointing at?
Definitely. I don't know where I'm at right now.
Sure you do. We'll be right back.
And now here's another look at our top stories. Police are investigating the mysterious death of a 22-month-old boy in the Lawndale section of the city. The toddler's parents are being questioned tonight. Investigators are trying to determine whether the parents' religious beliefs had anything to do with the boy's death.
Some research at the Mayo Clinic is raising more questions tonight about the safety of diet pills called fen-phen. The combination of the so-called wonder drugs may cause serious damage to the heart and lungs. Doctors wrote more than 18 million prescriptions for fen-phen last year. Manufacturers of the drugs say the study results are inconclusive. Bill?
The American League beat the National League 3-1 in the All-Star game. The Phil's Kurt Schilling pitched 2 innings, 2 hits, 3 strikeouts, no runs. Good effort, Frank.
Definitely partly sunny tomorrow. Some afternoon thunderstorms could be heavy with a high of 89, a low of 68. We'll keep you up to date, Rich.
All right, Frank, that is our news for this, what is it, Wednesday morning for the entire Fox 10 o'clock news team. Thank you for joining us.
Have a great morning, everybody. We'll see you.